Book of Heaven, Volume 16, November 5th, 1923. Jesus forms his real life, not mystical life, in the soul who lives in his will, as in a living host. I was feeling oppressed because of the privation of my sweet Jesus, with the addition that the confessor, because I had not had the trust to open up with him, and because I was bad, had denied me the absolution. So, having received Holy Communion, I abandoned myself in the arms of my most sweet Jesus, and I said to him, "My love, help me, do not abandon me. You know in what a state I find myself because of your privation. And still, instead of help, creatures add pains upon pains. Without you, I have no one else, either with you or on my own, crying over my hard lot of having lost you. This should push you more not to leave me alone, to at least keep company with a poor abandoned one who lives dying in her hard exile. Therefore, you who are the highest priest, give me the absolution. Tell me that you forgive the sins that are in my soul. Let me hear your most sweet voice that gives me life and forgiveness." Now, while I was pouring out my pain with Jesus, he made himself seen in my interior, and the sacramental veils formed as though a mirror, and Jesus was inside of it, alive and real. And my sweet Jesus told me,
"My daughter, this mirror is the accidents of the bread which keep me imprisoned within them. I form my life in the host, but the host does not give me anything, not one affection, not a heartbeat, not the littlest 'I love you.' It is as though dead for me. I remain alone without a shadow of requital, and therefore my love is almost impatient to go out, to shatter this glass, descending into hearts in order to find in them that requital which the host does not know how to give me, nor can it do so. But do you know where I find my true requital? In the soul who lives in my will. As I descend into her heart, immediately I consume the accidents of the host, because I know that more noble accidents, more dear to me, are ready to imprison me, so as not to let me go out of that heart, which will give me not only life within itself, but life for life. I will not be alone, but with my most faithful company. We will be two hearts palpitating together. We will love united. Our desires will be one. So I remain in her, and there I live life, alive and real, just as I do in the most holy sacrament. But do you know what these accidents are, which I find in the soul who does my will? They are her acts done in my volition, which more than accidents lay themselves around me and imprison me, but inside a noble and divine prison, not a dark one, because her acts done in my will more than sun illuminate her and warm her. Oh, how happy I feel to form my real life in her, because I feel as if I were inside my celestial royal palace. Look at me inside your heart, how happy I am, how I delight and feel the purest joys.
"And I, my beloved Jesus, isn't what you are telling something new and singular, that in one who lives in your will you form your real life? Isn't it rather the mystical life which you form in the hearts which possess your grace? And Jesus?"
No, no, it is not mystical life. As for those who possess my grace, but do not live with their acts identified within my volition, they do not have sufficient material to form the accidents in order to imprison me. It would be as if the priest did not have the host and wanted to pronounce the words of the consecration. He could say them, but would say them to the empty space. My sacramental life would certainly not have existence. This is how I am in the hearts which, though they may possess my grace, do not live completely in my will. I am in them by grace, but not in reality.
"And I'm my love, but how can it be that you can live really in the soul who lives in your will?" And Jesus,
My daughter, do I perhaps not live in the sacramental host, alive and real, in body, blood, soul, and divinity? And why do I live in the host in body, blood, soul, and divinity? Because there is not a will that opposes mine. If I found in the host a will opposed to mine, I would form neither real nor perennial life in it. This is also the reason why the sacramental accidents are consumed when creatures receive me. because I do not find a human will united with me in such a way as to want to lose its will in order to acquire mine, but I find a will that wants to act, that wants to do things on its own. So I make my little visit, and I leave. On the other hand, for one who lives in my will, my volition and hers are one. And if I do this in the host, how much more can I do it in her? More so, since I find a heartbeat, an affection, my return and my interest, which I do not find in the host. To the soul who lives in my will, my real life within her is necessary. Otherwise, how could she live in my volition? Ah, you do not want to understand that the sanctity of living in my will is a sanctity completely different from the other sanctities. Except for the crosses, the mortifications, the necessary acts of life which done in my will embellish the soul more, it is nothing other than the life of the blessed in heaven, who, because they live in my will, by virtue of it, have me within each one of them, as if I were for each one alone, alive and real, and not mystically, but really dwelling within them. And just as this could not be called life of heaven if they did not have me within them as their own life, and their happiness would be neither complete nor perfect if even a tiny particle of my life were missing in them. In the same way, for one who lives in my will would be neither full nor perfect in her, because my real life, which emits this will, would be missing. It is true that these are all prodigies of my love, even more, the prodigy of prodigies, which my will has kept within itself until now, and which it now wants to issue in order to achieve the primary purpose of the creation of man. Therefore, my first real life I want to form in you.
On hearing this, I said, "Ah, my love, Jesus. Yet I feel so bad because of all these contrasts, and you know it. It is true that this serves me to abandon myself more into your arms, and to ask from you what they do not give me. But in spite of this, I feel a breath of disturbance that troubles the peace of my soul. And you are saying that you want to form your real life in me? Oh, how far I am from this." And Jesus again,
Daughter, do not worry about this. What I want is that you put nothing of your own, and that you obey as much as you can. It is known that all other sanctities, that is, those of obedience and of other virtues, are not exempt from pettiness, disturbance, conflicts, and waste of time, which prevent the forming of a beautiful sun. At the most, they form a little star. Only the sanctity of my will is exempt from these miseries. And besides, my will encloses all the sacraments and their effects. Therefore, abandon yourself completely in my will, make it your own, and you will receive the effects of the absolution or of anything else which you might be denied. So I recommend to you, do not waste time, because by wasting time you come to hamper my real life, which I am forming in you.
thank you for being a part of our community here at Divine Will app. If you enjoy listening to Jesus' lessons on how to live in the divine will, please give this video a thumbs up. Your likes help us reach more souls yearning to live in the kingdom of the divine will. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reflections, so drop a comment below. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also inspire others on their spiritual journey. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining us, you're helping to spread the news of the kingdom of the divine will, so that together we can bring His kingdom to reign on earth as it is in heaven. In the divine will, always.